Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Welcome to the Hajj show, live from Mecca, live on Huda TV. This is the first day of the show, alhamdulillah, and I have some special guests with me today. Alhamdulillah, we have Dr. Abbas, and we also have Dr. Aziz, Dr. Saeed Abbas and Dr. Aziz. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. How are you finding your time in Mecca?
Alhamdulillah, wonderful.
Alhamdulillah. When did you arrive?
Today,
Alhamdulillah.
we got together from Riyadh to Mecca.
So did you complete the?
We flew from Riyadh.
Alhamdulillah.
We arrived just before Asr.
Alhamdulillah. So have you managed to do your Umrah?
Not yet.
Not yet, inshallah.
A long day for us, so.
Inshallah. Sheikh, when did you manage to arrive?
Again, today also as well.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And it was a lovely trip.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. All the way from Riyadh.
And all the way from Riyadh. And I really believe that the atmosphere is charged with melodies and emotions and high feelings about Hajj.
Yeah, inshallah. SubhanAllah, I mean, throughout this whole next 8 to 10 days, we're going to be here covering the Hajj. So we're going to be interviewing many different pilgrims who have come from all different parts of the world. Also, we'll be interviewing some of the sheikhs who have come to witness the Hajj as well. And inshallah, we're also going to be doing some off interviews as well, going to Mina and Arafat, visiting the pilgrims there, also showing the people at home what the Hajj is like, the experience. Because you know, the Hajj is such an important part of Islam. Can you just explain to us how important it is for Islam?
Islam is built on fact. That's why it's very important to you. There's no construction that will stand without these pillars. So it's one of the pillars of Islam. It's exactly like the Shahada or the Salah or the Zakat or the Sum. So this is very important. The other thing, it's a duty upon us for Allah. Allah says in the Quran, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ. It's the duty for Allah upon people to perform Hajj. So, you know, Islam won't be complete for a person unless he suffices that pillar of Islam if he's able physically and financially.
Yeah, that's an important point, because there's so many people around the world who want to visit the Hajj, but they might not be able to financially afford it, or it might be difficult for them. You know, and we make dua for them that Allah make it possible for them to visit the house.
It's been now very, it's easier for the people than before. In the past 20 years, I myself have seen an evolution in, that's your word.
We're just speaking about that.
Literally. I mean, in the ability of people to be able to reach the first Umrah. The first time I came to Mecca, I was almost like maybe 9 or 10 years old, and even there were peoples around the Kaaba itself at that time. But there were very few people that would be able to reach from Saudi Arabia, not from abroad, from Saudi Arabia, who would be able to reach Mecca and do Umrah. You know, my neighbors, other people in the school, they, you know, it's exactly the same way that somebody came from, you know,
so even within Saudi itself.
Yes, at that time. That was almost like 40 years ago.
You know, sometimes, you know, we think that, you know, when we look at the transport, the planes, subhanAllah, you know, and the transport we have with the air conditioning, all this technology, sometimes I feel it's to support the Hajjis, you know, subhanAllah, Allah sends this knowledge. Sheikh, when was the first time you visited Mecca?
It was in 1977.
SubhanAllah.
I came from the States with a big, large group with the so-called Bilalian Muslims, the Muslim community in the West, the American Muslims. So it was really a beautiful experience, very beautiful experience. The people were extremely thirsty to know about Hajj, to know about the Muslims who are color blinded. They suffered a lot of racism in the US, and Malcolm X, who was known as Malcolm X, but he had changed his name to Malik Shahbaz, was among the first early generation Muslims in the West, in US, who accepted the real Islam, and of course he was shot to death. The reason for that is he noticed that he is a part of a big brotherhood ties.
Subhanallah.
And he felt that there is no racism in Islam. There is no terrorism in Islam. There is no hard feelings in Islam. He felt that he belongs to this great nation, a nation that embraces everybody. No white, no black, no yellow, no red, no Mediterranean. Therefore, Islam cherishes all the races, honors all the races. Islam has the unity. Islam has the justice. Islam has the open-mindedness. Islam has the real life. But the rest of the isms are nothing but facade. Facade, decor only. Why? Because we have the love for the society. We have the love for the community. We have the love for the people. We have the love for the individuals. Allah the Almighty had blessed this nation of Islam with the love of one another. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. Allah had made us into peoples and tribes,
different nations,
in order, clans, tribes, nations, in order to acquaint with each other. But the real honored people are those who are pious, righteous, respecting the commands of Allah the Almighty. Unfortunately, after all, we are human beings. Muslims are human beings. Of course, you are going to find envy, you are going to find jealousy, you are going to find hatred, you are going to find liars, you are going to find cheaters, but the crux of the matter is Islam is unique. And that's what Hajj is also about.
When you visit the Hajj, you really do feel this sense of community. The Ummah. SubhanAllah, just driving through the city before, when we were driving from Jeddah, you've seen all different nationalities, different colours, different people from all different parts of the world, different walks of life. But they share this common thing, that we worship one Lord.
You know what I call that? People used to say, and they praise that thing, multicultural diversity. I call it in Mecca multicultural unity.
Yes. I actually found Islam by traveling to Africa.
Really?
Yeah, I came into contact with Muslims in Africa.
It's positively contagious.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Actually, Islam is the crucible.
Yes.
It melts, it's a melting pot. It melts all nationalities, all people, all races. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Everybody is crystal clear. And he maintains his race within his group. But with all together, people are joining each other, joining hands. When we join hands, we make brains. But when we break hands, we break the brains. Unfortunately, this is the situation with the Muslims all over the world. They come to know Islam and they love Islam more than the people who are born Muslims, because we admire Islam as born Muslims, but the others, are concerned about their parents, their fathers, mothers, aunties, paternal aunties, maternal aunties, uncles, and so forth and so on. They wanted them to be guided to Islam. They wanted them to feel what they felt, to know what they have learned, to improve as they improved, to live clean life in a clean society. I don't claim that our society is ideal, but it is really clean society.
Of course, Muslims are human beings.
Sure.
We're not angels. And so, non-Muslims, when they look at Muslims, they might expect more. But we was actually contemplating on this before. When you see that the Hajj, the pilgrimage, is something that everybody, from the scholar to the lay person, to every person in between, is performing the pilgrimage together. The rich and the poor, the black, the white, and it's such an act of unity. You were speaking about Malcolm X, and recently I got his autobiography. I couldn't help skip to the last few chapters when he actually travelled to the pilgrimage, and he explains it fantastic. You know, he explains his whole trip, because he came through Egypt and, you know, through into Mecca, and subhanallah, you know, as a black man coming from the United States of America, suffering this racism as you mentioned, he actually, subhanallah, he describes it so beautifully, described in that he's eating and walking with all different nationalities and cultures, and it was totally the opposite from what he'd been taught about, you know, the wrong understanding of Islam back in the States. Yeah, subhanallah. And then he accepted Islam, and shortly after, you know, he passed away, subhanallah.
Part of the unity that comes through the Hajj is that we are doing the same rites and rituals. We are taking all the commands of Allah Azza wa Jal in obedience. Exactly the same way Ibrahim alayhi salam got it from Allah Azza wa Jal. Why he is a leader, he is an imam of the ummah itself? Because his total obedience and quick response. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Baqarah, talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. In Arabic, you know, in English grammar is subject, verb, object. It's word order.
Yes.
In Arabic, no, you can have a flag on the word, and then you can bring the object from do'i to adu'a.
Yes.
That's why Allah said when Ibrahim, it's almost like passive in
yes,
English.
yes.
When Ibrahim was tested by Allah, Allah bringing his name to the front. Yeah, Allah, but this is an honor for him. Yes. The rest of the verses are about honoring Ibrahim alayhi salam, because he is the first establisher of Tawheed after the flood and after Noah. Yes. He is the establisher of the house of the Tawheed. He's the one who cracked all the idols and statues with his hands. He is the one who chased Shaitan. So
and he's also the one that brings not only Islam, but he, you know, we have a common relationship with other world religions, such as Judaism, Christianity.
In Bukhari, Rasulullah said that Ibrahim alayhi said to his wife, I don't know any believers on the face of the earth except you and me. Just imagine that one time, and he didn't know. He knew Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Uluhiyyah, but he didn't know the names and attributes of Allah. That's why he was wondering, is it the planet, is it the moon, is it the sun? And then until he reaches the truth. But again, the quick response, I'll repeat the ayah again. وَإِبْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. Allah tested him with kalimat. Kalimat is words, which means the commands of Allah. فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ is to accomplish. So mission accomplished. قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. He never hesitated in anything. And this is what we're supposed to do. Some people said, what is the sense behind going around Kaaba 7 times, going from one top of mount to the other, going to Muzdalifah, passing it, and then going to Arafah, and then sleeping in Muzdalifah? It's the total response for Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is something related
total
to
submission to Allah.
Yes, I mean, you know the scout boys, when they want to change them, take them the outskirts, and then they wear these clothes, and then, you know, soldiers, they don't never, you know, when the officer says right, left, this is what we do as Muslims. And this happens usually with the one that we love most, Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya. Usually, whenever he wants to talk about the love of Allah, to make it easy for us, he gives an analogy for, you know, what we call love. Okay? He said, how often do you remember your loved ones? You know, your hearts, you tremble with their names, they make poetry and sing with their names. Those who love Allah Azza wa Jal always have His remembrance. Their tongues are tender with His remembrance also. And along with this, the love also includes something called obedience. You know, someone that you love so much, and be it a fiancé, a wife, or a mother, once she tells you, I want this, or do this for me, you don't question. This is the most common thing. So how about Allah Azza wa Jalla? That's why we don't, and that's why Ibrahim alayhi salam, when Allah told him in this place, slaughter your own son, he didn't say, it doesn't make sense. Even his son, when he came to him, and Ya Abati, my father, if I'm not to do whatever you are commanded.
Jazakallah khair. You know, we're short of time today. We don't have much time. We started a bit late. We were supposed to start much earlier. But inshallah, we're going to come back in the next over the next week or so, and we're going to speak about more of these stories of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You know, because these are the stories about the Prophet and the Hajj as well. So Jazakallah khair. Thank you for joining us today. And those of you at home, make sure you tune in tomorrow and the next few days. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.